Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the WNBA Bible basketball. Our crowd is all excited tonight about these young ladies getting ready to run down this court. So, welcome to the WNBA. We're going to give a few minutes as our players come on out on the court. WNBA. We're gonna watch these sisters. They shoot that long ball. So any man, you can get in it too, cause these sisters, they shoot that long ball in the WNBA. So come on in and join us as we get ready to watch this WNBA basketball in honor of Women's History Month. This is in honor of Women's History Month. So come on, let's play a little bit in WNBA basketball. Good evening, Bishop Granberry. God bless you. I'm doing fine. I hope you're doing the same, my brother. Welcome to the WNBA basketball. Go ahead and get your shoes on, my brother, and get ready to play. And happy birthday to you, Bishop. God bless you, Bishop. Happy birthday, young man. Happy birthday to you. All right. Our crowd is excited about tonight's game, so we're going to give a few minutes for the players to come on in. The crowd is all excited, so come on in. Warm up and get ready to shoot around the court. The crowd is excited. I hope everyone is doing okay this evening. A lot going on in our world, but that's all right. God is still in control. No matter what goes on in the world, God is still in control. Amen. So come on in. Let's get started with a little bit of WNBA basketball. There we come, Sister Glenzie Commons. God bless you, Sister Glenzie Commons. Good to see you this evening. So all is well. All right. God bless you, my sister. All is well. The crowd is excited about you being here tonight, my sister. So we're going to look forward to you going up and down that court. All right. We'll give a few minutes. We're going to give a few minutes for people to show up and come on in. Say, all is well. All right. God bless you. Thank the Lord that all is well. Oh, I forgot to hook up my cord before our battery run out. You don't want to run out of battery. So I forgot to hook up the cord. Let me get this cord. See, it's crying now. This computer is crying because that cord ain't hooked up. But we'll get it hooked up right quick. Yeah. We got a little time as our players are coming in. We got a little time. There goes our first lady, my beautiful wife. God bless you. The crowd is all excited about our first lady being here this evening. So we're going to be looking to run up and down this court. We're going to get ready to get started. I hope all is well. Sister Glenzie said all is well. So we hope all is well with everyone. Our crowd is excited. And so we're going to get ready to pull up our questions here. Let's see where we're going to be coming from as we're celebrating Women's History Month. We're celebrating Women's History Month. And so we're going to be in the Old Testament. We're going to be in the Old Testament, Judges chapter 4, and we're going to be looking at a woman. She was a tough woman. Judges chapter 4. All right, the crowd is excited about Judges chapter 4. Good evening to my cousin Shirley. The crowd is all excited for you to be here tonight. We're ready to see you run up and down this court. We're in Judges chapter 4, and we're going to get ready to put up our questions from Judges chapter 4. We'll be shooting that long ball tonight. These sisters shoot that long ball. So we're going to see if y'all are able to shoot that long ball here in Judges chapter 4. All right, let's get ready to head up and down the court. We're going to pull up our questions here. Let me connect our questions to the computer. All right. Let's give me a second to connect the questions to the computer. All right. There we go there. Over here. I hope everybody is doing all right this evening. Like I said, we're in Judges chapter 4. That's where we're going to be coming from. Judges chapter 4. All right. There we go. All right. Judges chapter 4. All right, the questions are focusing in now. All right, we're getting ready to pull up our question from Judges chapter 4. Give me a second here to put it on the screen. Judges chapter 4. All right, there we go. Yeah, we're moving. We're moving. All right, we're getting ready to head up and down this court in Judges chapter 4. I hope you're excited. Our crowd is all excited. So here comes our first question from Judges chapter 4. And it says, the children of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Lord and were serving under this king of Canaan. What king? A, Nebuchadnezzar. B, Bildad. C, Darius. D, Jabin. What king were they serving under? Who gonna take off down the court first? And there goes the bishop took off down the court first with Nebuchadnezzar. Down the court, the bishop goes with Nebuchadnezzar. Are we all in agreement? But here comes the first lady right away and steals it from the bishop. And she goes back the other way with Jabin. She goes between her leg and passes it to Cousin Shirley. Cousin Shirley passes it to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie takes off down the court between her and the first lady down the court. The first lady and Sister Glenzie going back and forth down the court with D. Down the court, they're going with D. Look at Sister Glenzie go between her leg behind her back. This sister can play some ball. The crowd is all excited as she go down between her leg behind her back. Look at her go. Can she shoot that long ball? Can she shoot that long ball? As the seconds are ticking on the clock, is this correct? With D, can she shoot that? That is correct. Way to shoot that long ball. You know, Bishop, it was D. 3-pointer, it was D. Jabin, it was D. It wasn't Nebuchadnezzar. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with the next question. Said, this prophetess was judge at that time. What prophetess? A, Rahab. B, Deborah. C, Lydia. D, Jezebel. What prophetess was judge at that time? Who gonna take off down the court? And there go the first lady, takes off with Deborah. Down the court, she goes with Deborah between her leg behind her back, and she passes it to Cousin Shirley. Cousin Shirley takes off down the court, but then she got it stolen by the bishop. Bishop sticking with Rahab. He said Rahab, but here come the first lady, and she steals it back from the bishop and passes it to Sister Glenzie Cummins. Sister Glenzie Cummins takes off down the court. She goes between her legs and behind her back. She is moving. Look at that sister go as she passes it to Cousin Shirley. Back to Sister Glenzie. They are going. Good evening, Sister Lisa Jones. They pass the ball to Sister Lisa Jones. Sister Lisa Jones goes down the court and passes it back to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie go between her leg and pass it to the first lady, back to Sister Glenzie. Down the court, Sister Glenzie going. She's showing off before the crowd. She is showing off before the crowd as she speeds down that court between her legs and behind her back. But the bishop is determined. The bishop goes the other way with Rahab. The bishop goes the other way with Rahab. Can the bishop shoot that three-pointer with Rahab? Down the court, the bishop goes with Rahab. Is they going to let the bishop go with Rahab? He's getting closer and closer, but here comes the first lady. She steals it from the bishop and passes it to Sister Glenzie, back to the first lady, back to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie go between her legs, behind her back. She is determined. Can she shoot that long ball? Is that correct? That is correct. It is Deborah. Way to shoot that long ball. It is B, Deborah. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with the next question. Next question says, Bishop, no, sir. Good evening, Sister Brenda Jones. God bless you. Good to see you this evening. Welcome to the WNBA. Welcome to the WNBA. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with our next question. Next question says, she was dwelling under what tree? What tree was Deborah up under? The answer was Deborah, Sister Brenda, and she was dwelling under what tree? A, oak, B, sycamore, C, palm, D, willow. And there go our first lady, takes off down the court right away with a palm tree. Down the court, the first lady go between her back, and she passes it to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie passes it to the bishop. The bishop takes off down the court and passes it back to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie takes off down the court and she goes between her legs and behind her back. She got the crowd all excited with a palm tree. And she passes it to Cousin Shirley. Cousin Shirley go between her legs and behind her back. Look at these sisters play. Down the court she goes and she passes it to Sister Brenda Jones. Down the court, Sister Brenda Jones goes and she passes it back to the bishop. The bishop go between his legs. The bishop said he can play with them sisters too. So down the court, the bishop goes with palm tree. It was a palm tree. As the seconds tick on the clock, are we going to go with palm tree? The crowd is all excited. Is it a palm tree? Is that correct? With a palm tree. Anybody see anything different? That is correct. It was a palm tree. Way to shoot that long ball, Bishop. Show them you can shoot it too. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with our next question. Next question says, she called for this man to go against the king of Canaan. What man did she call to go against the king of Canaan? A, Archibald. B, Barak. C, Simon. D, Jethro. Who gonna take off down the court? And there goes our first lady, take off down the court. And they said, way to go, Bishop. Down the court, the first lady goes, and she passes it to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie go between her leg and behind her back, and she passes it to Cousin Shirley, back to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie showing off before the crowd as she go between her leg, behind her back. Look at her spin around. But here comes the bishop. The bishop stole it and went the other way with Simon. But here comes Sister Brenda, steals it from the bishop and said, no, it was B, Barak. Down the court, Sister Brenda go with B, Barak, and she passes it back to the first lady. The first lady takes off down the court, going between her legs, and she passes it back to Sister Brenda. Back to the first lady, to Sister Glenzie coming. Down the court, she go between her legs and behind her back. Sister Glenzie coming is determined. She says she can play some ball, and she passes it to Cousin Shirley. Back to Sister Glenzie, to Cousin Shirley, to Sister Brenda Jones. Is this a three-pointer? As the seconds tick on the clock, can she hit that long ball? That is correct. Way to hit that long ball. Way to hit that long ball. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with the next question saying, he said he would not go unless what? A, she went with him. B, he saw a sign from heaven. C, all of Israel went with him. Or D, the priest blessed him. He said he would not go unless what happened? The crowd is ready. Who's going to take off down the court? And there goes the first lady. She said she want him to go. He wants her to go with him. Down the court she goes, and she passes it to Cousin Shirley. Back to the first lady, to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie go between her legs, behind her back, and she shows off before the crowd. And here come the bishop, steals it from Sister Glenzie and go back the other way with the priest. But then here comes Sister Glenn's, and she steals it back from the bishop down the court. She goes and she passes it to Cousin Shirley. Cousin Shirley back to Sister Glenn's, who passes it to Sister Brenda Jones. Sister Brenda Jones passes it back to Sister Glenn's, who shows off before the crowd, showing her skill. Down the court she goes, showing off her skill. Is this a three-pointer? And she go down the court with 8. But then the bishop changed up. He saw a sign. The bishop said he saw a sign. But here comes Sister Brenda said, no, Bishop, that ain't happening. She said, A, she went with him. She went with him. Is this correct? That is correct. She went with him. Way to shoot that long ball. These sisters can shoot that long ball. Good evening, Pastor. Good evening, Pastor White. God bless you, my brother. Welcome to the WNBA. These sisters can shoot that long ball. So let's get ready to head down the court with our next question. Let's get ready to head down the court with our next question. All right. Next question said, how many men went with him? How many men went with him? A, 2,000. B, 5,000. C, 10,000. D, 20,000. Who gonna take off down the court first on this one? How many men? There goes our first lady. She said 10,000. Down the court she goes with C with 10,000, and she go between her legs and behind her back, showing off before the crowd, and she passes it to Sister Glenzie with 10,000. Sister Glenzie passes it to Cousin Shirley. Cousin Shirley go between her legs. She passes it back to Sister Glenzie, who passes it to Sister Brenda. Sister Brenda passes it back to Sister Glenzie. Down the court, she going between her legs behind her back. She passes it to Cousin Shirley. Cousin Shirley back to Sister Glenzie, who passes it to the pastor. The pastor passes it back to Sister Glenzie. She go between her legs behind her back, and she passes it back to the pastor. The pastor and Sister Glenzie are going back and forth, showing off before the crowd. As the pastor passes it to Sister Brenda, back to Sister Glenzie, to the pastor, back to Sister Glenzie. They're showing all off before the crowd, back and forth. The pastor and Sister Glenzie are going back and forth before the crowd, and they pass it to Sister Brenda. Back and forth they going, and she shows off her skills as she go between her legs. Is it C? Is that correct? That is correct. It is C. Way to shoot that long ball. These sisters can shoot that long ball. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with our next question. Next question said, how many chariots of iron did Sisera, the captain of the host of Canaan, have? How many chariots of iron? A, 20. B, 200. C, 700. D, 900. Who's going to take off down the court first on this one here? How many chariots of iron did he have? And there comes Cousin Shirley with 900. Down the court, she passes it to the first lady, who passes it to Sister Glenzie, back to the pastor with 900. Down the court, they go back and forth, and they passes it to Sister Brenda. Sister Brenda back to Sister Glenzie, who go between the leg, back to the pastor. The pastor passes it back to Sister Glenzie, who go between the leg, back to the pastor, to Sister Glenzie. They going down this court as they go back and forth. They are going at it. Man, they are going at it back and forth. Sister Brenda passes it. Sister Glenzie passes it to Sister Brenda, back to the pastor. And the pastor passes it back to Sister Brenda. Down the court they're going. Look at them go. She goes between her leg, behind her back. Is it D, 900? Is it D, 900? As she shows off her skills, she passes it back to the pastor. Is it D? That is correct. It is D. The pastor can shoot that long ball too. The three-pointer from half court. Way to shoot that long ball. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with our next question. Say, who took Sisera into her tent? Who took Sisera? A, Jael. B, Rhoda. C, Dorcas. D, Tabitha. Who took Sisera into her tent? Who gonna take off first? And there go the first lady. She said Jael. Down the court she go between her legs as she shows off before the crowd. Back and forth as she spins and she passes it to Cousin Shirley. Cousin Shirley go between her legs, and she passes it to Sister Brenda. Sister Brenda takes off down the court and passes it to the pastor. The pastor go between his legs, showing off before the crowd, spinning around everything as he takes off down the court. Look at the pastor go, and he passes it to Sister Glenzie, back to the pastor, to Sister Glenzie. Back and forth, the pastor and Sister Glenzie going, and she passes to Sister Brenda, back to the pastor, to Sister Glenzie. Look at her move down that court. That sister knows how to handle that ball spinning around, and she passes it to Sister Brenda. Sister Brenda go between her legs, spins around, and she takes off down the court, and she go between her legs. Look at that sister go with AJL. Is this a long? Can she shoot that long ball as she heads down the court? Can this sister shoot that long ball? Is that correct? That is correct. It is Jael. Another long ball from half court. These sisters can shoot that long ball. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with our next question. Next question says, what did she give him to drink? What did Jael give Cecilia to drink? A, wine. B, poison. C, water. Or D, milk. Who gonna take off down the court on this one here? And there goes our first lady with milk. She go between her legs, behind her back with milk, and she passes it to Cousin Shirley. Down the court, they go back and forth with milk. Look at these sisters go. And here comes Sister Brenda. They passes it to her, and she go between her leg, behind her back. Sister Brenda says she know how to play in the NBA, but here come Pastor White, say he can play in that NBA too, and he passes it to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie back to the pastor. The pastor go between the leg, behind her back, and he passes it to Sister Brenda, back to the pastor. Back and forth they going, and as they passes it to Sister Glenzie, she spins around, go between her leg, behind her back, and the first lady says, slam it. She said she don't want no long ball. Can these sisters slam it? She says, slam it this time. Sister Glenzie go between her leg. She said, slam it. Can Sister Glenzie slam it as she passes it in for an alley hoop to Sister Brenda? They said slam, but here come the bishop. As they passed the ball, the bishop stole it and went back the other way. But here comes Sister Brenda. She stole it from the bishop and takes off the other way. Can she slam that ball? Can Sister Brenda slam that ball? And she passed it to the first lady. The first lady passed it to the pastor. Can they slam this ball? Cousin Shirley, milk. All right, she go down the court. Is this a slam dunk? Can she slam this ball? Is that correct? With milk, as Sister Brenda and Pastor White go between, is the milk correct? Yes, that's a slam. That's a slam. She slammed that ball that time. This sister showed that she can slam that ball. Way to slam it. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with our next question. Too late, Bishop. It was D. Said, what did she use to kill him? A, a sword. B, a nail. C, mushrooms. Or D, a scarlet cord. Who gonna take off down the court first on this one here? As the crowd is all excited, there goes our first lady with a nail. First lady take off down the court, go between her legs, behind her back with a nail, as she passes it to Cousin Shirley. Cousin Shirley passes it to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie go between her leg, behind her back, as she passes it to the pastor, back to Sister Glenzie. Back and forth, and they passes it to Sister Brenda. Sister Brenda takes off down the court, back to Sister Glenzie, who passes it to the pastor. Look at them go down the court, back to Sister Glenzie. They're going back and forth between Sister Glenzie and the pastor, going back and forth down the court. Can they shoot that long ball? Can they shoot that long ball? And here comes Sister Brenda. The pastor passes it to Sister Brenda. Sister Brenda go between her leg, behind her back, and she passes it to the bishop. Bishop say he can shoot that long ball too. Look at the bishop go down the court. Bishop go between his leg, behind his back, and he passes it back to Sister Brenda. Back to the bishop. The bishop say he can play that long ball too. And here comes Sister Brenda. Back and forth, Sister Brenda and the bishop are going back and forth. Back and forth they go, and can the bishop shoot that long ball? That bishop shot that long ball too. The bishop said he can shoot that long ball too. All right, that brings our first half to an end. What an exciting first half. What an exciting first half. All right, you got to take a break, get you some water, get you a little something to drink, as go to the concession stand or something as we get ready for our second half. What an exciting first half. All right. What an exciting first half. As our sisters and brothers got in there with them, they slammed. They were shooting that long ball from half court. Man, what some good ball handling that was on you all part. That was some good ball handling, spinning, going between your legs and all of that. So get you a quick water break as we get ready to pull up our question for our second half, which will be coming out of the next chapter, Judges chapter 5. We're going to continue on into Judges chapter 5. All right. And this here is Judges 4 was all about Deborah and how she went with the man, went out there, went to war with the men. She was such a strong woman that those men did not even want to go to war without her. And then we seen some other sisters that helped her out. Jael helped Deborah and the men out. All right, we're getting ready to start our second half. So we're coming out of Judges chapter 5. And so here comes our questions for the second half as we pull them up. Here comes our first question. All right. The first question says, who sang the song? A, the priest. B, the women. C, Deborah and Barak. D, Ezra and Nehemiah. Who sang a song? The priests, the women, Deborah and Barak, Ezra and Nehemiah. Who gonna take off down the court on this one here? And here goes our first lady, takes off down the court, and she got it stolen by the bishop. Bishop steals it and goes the other way. But then here comes Sister Glenzie. She steals it from the bishop and said BC. She said BC. All right, I think she going with C. There you go. And she takes off down the court and she passes it to cousin Shirley, back to Sister Glenzie. All right. Down the court, she passes it to the first lady, back to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie taking off down the court between her legs. She passes it to Sister Brenda, back to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie spins around. Look at this sister spinning around and passes it back to Sister Brenda, back to Sister Glenzie. She show off the court as they go back and forth down the court. These sisters are showing off their skills as they pass to the first lady, back to Sister Glenzie, to Sister Brenda. Back and forth, these sisters are showing off their kill. But here come the bishop. As she tried to pass it, the bishop steals it and goes the other way. Can they catch the bishop? There goes Sister Glenzie, caught him and passes it to Sister Brenda, back to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie goes between her legs, behind her back. She is determined not to let him catch her as she passes it to cousin Shirley, back to Sister Glenzie, to Sister Brenda. Sister Brenda goes between her legs, behind her back. This sister is determined not to let him get it. As she takes off down the court, she passes it down the court to cousin Shirley. But the bishop passed. He stole the pass and go the other way. But here comes Sister Brenda. Right away, steals it from the bishop. But the bishop still determined. He steals it back. But here comes the pastor. He steals it with C. The pastor passes it back to Sister Brenda. Back and forth they go down the court between the pastor and Sister Brenda. They headed down the court and they passes it to the first lady, who go between her leg and behind her back with C. And she passes it back to the pastor, to cousin Shirley, to Sister Brenda. Back and forth they go, but here the bishop is still determined with A. And as the bishop determined with A, here come the pastor, steals it back from the bishop with C. And he passes it to Sister Brenda, who passes it to cousin Shirley. Okay, cousin Shirley, I see what you're talking about. All right, C, down the court. Here we going. But the bishop is still stealing it. He is determined. And Sister Brenda steals it right back and passes it to the first lady. As the first lady comes in, she passes it back to Sister Brenda, to cousin Shirley. Back and forth, they're going down the court. The bishop still trying to steal it. But here come cousin Shirley to Sister Brenda. Is it C? C is correct. Too late, bishop. It is C. The correct answer is C. Deborah and Barak. they both sang together. All right. Way to hit that long ball on that one. All right. Next question says, the Lord avenged Israel when the people did what? A, willfully offered themselves. B, hid themselves for fear. C, were covered in pride. Or D, apologized to Jael. The Lord avenged Israel when what? When they what? Willfully offered themselves, hid themselves, were covered in pride, or apologized to Jael. And there goes our first lady down the court. She said, willingly offered themselves. Down the court, she go between her leg, behind her back, willingly offered themselves, and she passes it to Cousin Shirley. Cousin Shirley back to the first lady, back and forth. The first lady and Cousin Shirley are going back and forth down the court with willingly offered themselves. And here come the pastor. He gets with them and he passes it to Sister Glenzie. Back to the pastor to Sister Glenzie. Back and forth. They go down the court as they passes it to Sister Brenda. Back to the pastor. The pastor go between the leg behind his back. But here come the bishop, steals it from the pastor and goes the other way. But here comes Sister Brenda right away, steals it from the bishop and goes the other way with willingly offered themselves. She said, A, willingly offered themselves. And there goes Sister Brenda down the court. And she passes it back to the first lady with willingly offered themselves back to Sister Brenda. Back and forth, they go down the court. She passed to Cousin Shirley. Cousin Shirley lost the ball, and the bishop got it. The bishop goes the other way with the ball, but here come the pastor, steals it and sends back to Cousin Shirley, who passes Sister Brenda to the pastor, back to Cousin Shirley to Sister Brenda. Down the court, Sister Brenda goes with the ball, but she lost it. The bishop got it. The bishop got it from her, but she stole it back from him, and the bishop steals it back from her. They're going back and forth. Look at that defense. Back and forth they go as the bishop and Sister Brenda fighting over that ball. Back and forth they go. Sister Brenda and the bishop are fighting back and forth over that ball. That bishop is determined with hid. He said they hid themselves. But here comes Sister Glenzie coming. Sister Brenda passes it to the first lady. Back to Sister Brenda to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie gets in there, and the bishop stole it, but she stole it right back from him and sends it to Sister Brenda to Sister Glenzie. But here comes the bishop again. But here comes Sister Glenzie saying, no, Bishop, you can't have it. But Bishop is determined as he passes it to Sister Glenzie, to the first lady. The bishop is determined. Back and forth they go. The bishop steady trying to get it. And here come the Pastor White. And Pastor White said it's A. And that is correct. It is A. They willingly offered themselves. Way to get in there, Pastor, at the last second. It was A. They willingly offered themselves. It wasn't B, Bishop. All right. Next question says, these melted from before the Lord. What melted? A, chariots of iron. B, the stars in the sky. C, the mountains. D, tears of men. What melted before the Lord? Who's going to take off first on this one here? What melted? And there goes our first lady, takes off with the mountains. Down the court she goes with the mountains. She passes to Sister Glenzie coming. Sister Glenzie coming, go between her leg, back to the first lady, back to Sister Glenzie. And here comes Sister Glenzie, and she passes it to the bishop. The bishop got with him. The bishop got with him this time, and he passes it back to Sister Glenzie. She go between her legs and behind her back. She passes it to the pastor, back to Sister Glenzie. Back and forth, the pastor and Sister Glenzie are going at it. Down the court, they passing back and forth to Sister Brenda. Sister Brenda passed it back to the pastor. Pastor go between his legs, behind his back, as he passed the ball to Sister Glenzie, back to the pastor, Sister Glenzie to Sister Brenda. Back to the pastor. They going back and forth down the court, and here come the bishop, here come Cousin Shirley. The bishop and Cousin Shirley going back and forth as they passes it to Sister Brenda. Back to the bishop to Sister Brenda. Back and forth they go down the court, showing off their skills. The Sister Brenda and the bishop are going back and forth, showing off their skills as they go down the court. Is this correct? That is correct. It is the mountains. Way to shoot that long ball on that one. It was the mountains. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with our next question. Next question says, she arose a mother in Israel. Who arose a mother in Israel? A, Eve, B, Rachel, C, Sarah, or D, Deborah? Who rose a mother in Israel? Who gonna take off down the court first on this one here? And that goes our first lady, takes off down the court with Deborah. She is determined as she passes it to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie takes off down the court, go between her leg and behind her back. She is determined with Deborah as she passes it to Sister Brenda. Back to Sister Glenzie and Sister Brenda going back and forth down the court. Look at them go back and forth down the court as Sister Glenzie passes it to the pastor. The pastor back and forth, him and Sister Glenzie go, and they passes it to Sister Brenda. Sister Brenda back to the pastor, back and forth they going to the pastor and Sister Brenda. They're showing off their skills as they got the crowd all excited. Between the pastor and Sister Brenda, they are showing off their skills, and here come cousin Shirley, says she got some skills too. She spins around, passes it back to Sister Brenda to the pastor, and they back and forth, and they pass it to cousin Shirley to Sister Brenda. Back and forth they go to between cousin Shirley and Sister Brenda, showing off their skill. Sister Brenda go between the leg behind her back. She is determined. Can she shoot that long ball? Can she shoot that long ball? Is that correct? That is correct. That is correct. Way to shoot that long ball. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with our next question here. Let's get ready to head down the court. Next question said, they chose new gods. Then was there what? They chose new God. Then there was A, peace. B, blessings from above. C, war at the gates. D, a division in heaven. They chose new gods and what? Who gonna come out, take off down the court first on this one here? And there goes our first lady and said that was war. Between her leg behind her back, and she passes it to cousin Shirley back to the first lady. There was war. War at the gates. Down the court they go with war. And she, between the first lady and cousin Shirley are going back and forth with war at the gates. Down the back and forth they go with war at the gates. Can they hit that long ball as they go back and forth with war? And here comes Sister Brenda gets in there. She said war, and she passes it to the pastor. Back and forth, the pastor and Sister Brenda go down the court with war at the gates. Down the court, he spins around, go between his legs, showing off because the crowd, and passes it back to Sister Brenda. As he speeds down the court, here comes Sister Brenda, twisting and turning. She goes between defenders and passes it back to the pastor. Between defenders, they go back to Sister Brenda, who passes to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie spins around, go between the defenders and passes it back to Sister Brenda. Sister Brenda passes it back to Sister Glenzie, who passes it back to Sister Brenda. Back and forth, they going back and forth down the court between Sister Brenda and Sister Brenda. Down the court, Sister Glenzie and Sister Brenda going back and forth down the court. Look at them go as Sister Brenda passes it to the pastor. The pastor spin around and go between his legs. Is that correct with C, war at the gates? Is that correct? That is correct. It is C, war at the gates. The pastor know how to shoot that long ball too. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with our next question. Says, at the places of drawing of water, those who have been delivered shall tell of what? A, their bravery. B, Deborah and Barak. C, the Lord's righteous acts. D, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Who gonna take off down the court first on this one here? At the drinking of water, those who are delivered shall tell of what? When they go to draw the water from the well, who they gonna talk about? Bravery, Deborah and Barak, the Lord's righteous act, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And there go our first lady, takes off down the court with the righteous acts, the Lord's righteous act. She go between her leg behind her back with the righteous act. Down the court, she go with righteous act, and she passes it to Sister Brenda. Sister Brenda takes off down the court, going back and forth with the righteous acts. As she spins and go down the court with righteous acts, she passes it to between her legs to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie spins around and passes it to Cousin Shirley, back to Sister Glenzie. Look at her go, and she passes it to Sister Brenda. Down the court, Sister Brenda spins around. She got the crowd all excited as she passes it to Cousin Shirley. Cousin Shirley passes it back to Sister Brenda, back to Cousin Shirley. Back and forth they go as they pass to the pastor, back to Cousin Shirley, to Sister Brenda. They're going back and forth between Sister Brenda, Cousin Shirley, and the pastor. Man, they is working that ball. They is working that ball. Way to work that ball as they work it back and forth between each other, between the pastor and Sister Glenzie and Cousin Shirley. They are working that ball as they head down the court. Look at them work that ball as Sister Brenda shows off before the crowd. She's got the crowd all excited. Is that correct with the righteous act? That is correct. Righteous acts. Way to shoot that long ball on that one there. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with our next question. Said, she shall be blessed among women. Who? A, Mary. B, Elizabeth. C, Rachel. Or D, Jael. Who shall be blessed among women? Who's going to take off down the court first on this one here? Who shall be blessed among women? Who shall be blessed among women? Who's going to take off down the court on this one here? As the crowd is all excited. The crowd is all excited. Who shall be blessed? And there go Cousin Shirley. She said, Jael. Down the court, Cousin Shirley go with Jael. She passes it to the First Lady, back and forth between the First Lady and Cousin Shirley as they go down the court with Jael. Is that correct with Jael? Man, look at them handling that ball between Cousin Shirley and the First Lady. Our First Lady, they're taking off down the court with Jael. Man, they handling it all on their own as they go down the court. Look at them handling that ball on their own, and they passes it to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie go between her leg behind her back as she shows off before the crowd. She's showing off her skills, spinning and everything, and she passes it to Sister Brenda. Sister Brenda passes it back to Sister Glenzie. Back to Sister Brenda. They are showing off their skills as they go back and forth down the court between Sister Brenda and Sister Glenzie. Down the court they're going, showing off their skills. As they go back and forth down the court between Sister Glenzie and Sister Brenda. Man, look at them sisters go, showing off their skills. The crowd are all excited as they show off their skills. Is this a three? Can they shoot that long ball? Can they shoot that long ball? That is correct. It is Jael. Way to shoot that long ball. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with our next question. Says, when Sarira asked her for water, she gave him what? Y'all had that on the last one. What did she give him? A, poison. B, vinegar. C, wine. Or D, milk. Who's going to take off first on this one? We had this one. What did she give him? There go our First Lady. She said it was milk. And she passed it to Cousin Shirley, back and forth. Cousin Shirley and the First Lady, and they passes it to Sister Glenzie. Back to the First Lady, to Pastor White, to Sister Glenzie. Back and forth they go with milk. Can y'all slam it on this last one here? The seconds are ticking, and this is the last. The quarter is coming to an end. The game is getting ready to come to an end as Cousin Shirley passes back to Sister Glenzie, who passed it down the court to Pastor White. Back to Cousin Shirley, to Sister Glenzie. The game is coming to an end. Back to the pastor, back to Sister Glenzie. Back and forth to Cousin Shirley, to Sister Glenzie. As they're going back and forth. Man, look at them handling that ball. Back and forth, they're going handling that ball. Seconds are ticking. The game is coming to an end. Can they slam it on the end? The crowd is all excited. Can they go out with a slam on this one here? Back and forth they go. Can they go out with a slam? Can they go out with a slam? Cousin Shirley says slam it. Can they go out with a slam? And there comes the pastor. Can they go out with a slam? First Lady said slam it. And here come the pastor. He trying to get that slam. Does he need some help? The seconds are ticking on the clock. Can the pastor go out with a slam? Can the pastor go out with a slam on this one here? Can he slam it? D, that is correct. Way to end the game. Wow, that wasn't the end. Oh, okay then. Way to slam it. He just slammed. That wasn't the end. I thought it was the end, but here we go with our next question. Way to hit that, slam it on that one. The pastor slammed that one. He didn't just, he went in for a slam. All right, here comes our next question. Next question says, she killed him with a what? She killed him with A, bow and arrow, B, hammer and nail, C, knife, or D, sword. We had this one here, so who's going to take off down the court first on this one here? What did she kill him with? What did she kill him with? Hammer, so bow and arrow, hammer and nail, knife, or sword. We had this one here. And here comes cousin Shirley said a hammer and nail, and she passes it to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie passes it to the pastor. Back to Sister Glenzie, who passed it to the first lady with a nail. Back to Sister Glenzie, she passed it to the first lady. Back to Sister Glenzie, back and forth her and the first lady going down the court between Sister Glenzie and the first lady. They're showing off their skill, and they pass it to the pastor. Pastor go dwindling back to Sister Glenzie to the pastor as they go back and forth. As they go back and forth down that court between the pastor and Sister Glenzie. Is this a slam? Is this a slam? As they take off down the court back and forth, the pastor and Sister Glenzie are showing off their skills. Is this a long ball or a slam? What are they going to do on this one here? As they go between the pastor and Sister Glenzie, back and forth they go. Is it correct with B? That is correct. It was a hammer and nail. Way to shoot that long ball on that one there. All right, here comes our next question. Next question says, after this, the land of Israel had rest for how long? A, 8 years, B, 10 years, C, 40 years, or D, 60 years. How long did they have rest? 8, 10, 40, or 60 years. And there goes our first lady, takes off down the court with 40. She go between her leg and behind her back, showing off her skills with 40. Look at the first lady go with 40 as she shows off her skills and she passes it to cousin Shirley. Down the court, cousin Shirley passes it to the pastor. Pastor and cousin Shirley go back and forth as they passes it to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie take off down the court back to the pastor, who passes it back to Sister Glenzie. Back and forth, they're showing off their skills between the pastor and Sister Glenzie. They're going back and forth, showing off their skills between the pastor and Sister Glenzie. They said it is 40. Is that correct? As the seconds are ticking on the clock, the pastor and Sister Glenzie are going back and forth with 40, showing off their skills. They are determined. They are determined. Is this a long ball? Can they hit that 40? That is correct. It was 40 years that they had rest. Way to shoot that long ball on that one and go out with a alley hoop into a slam. All right. We thank you all for coming out and being a part of this WNBA. Y'all had the crowd all excited to be here, a part of this here. So we thank you all for coming out and being a part of the WNBA as we celebrate Women's History Month, playing in the WNBA. Thank you to you all for coming out. Thank you, Pastor White. God bless you, my brother. Thank you for coming out and playing in the WNBA. Thank you, Sister Glenzie, for coming out and being a part of this tonight. God bless you, being a part of the WNBA. Thank you, my sister. Thank you, my brother. All right. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Glenzie. God bless you, my sister. Thank you for coming out and being a part. My cousin Shirley, God bless you. Thank you for coming out. So trust the process and keep God first. All right. The crowd likes that. Trust God and keep God first. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to my beautiful wife, our first lady. God bless you. Thank you for coming out and being a part. All right, we thank you. Thank you to you all for being a part. The bishop was here earlier, so we thank the bishop for coming out and being a part. Thank you to the bishop. And thank you, Sister Brenda Jones. God bless you, Sister Brenda Jones was with us tonight. Thank you for coming out and being a part. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen. Thank you all for coming out and being a part of this WNBA. Amen. Thank you, First Lady. God bless you all. Remember to trust the process and seek to keep God first. Trust the process and seek to keep God first. Have a good night. Have a good night.